We all have routines. I'm Jabron, and with diabetes, mine was finger sticks. Sometimes I skip them because they hurt. The Freestyle Libre 3CGM changed that. It gives me glucose insights without finger sticks. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
Finger sticks are required if your glucose alarms or readings do not match symptoms, or when you see check blood glucose symbol for the first 12 hours. The views expressed should not be used for medical diagnosis or treatment as a substitute for professional medical advice. Individual circumstances may vary. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
Now at McDonald's, wake up to a $4 breakfast meal deal. Wake up to a sausage McMuffin or sausage biscuit, to hash browns, and wake up to a hot coffee. Get your $4 breakfast meal deal.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Sitting in is Riley Jensen. Now, we've picked up a local football team. We've expanded. We've got the locals in the state, and I think this year and in the subsequent coming years, who knows how long we'll go, that Michigan football has become a big local story. Obviously, with Kyle Whittingham taking over the head coaching job. And not just that, bringing in a number of guys that have Utah ties. Jason Beck is a coordinator. He was the coordinator. He worked for Ronnie Mack at Weber. And then obviously he was backup quarterback to John Beck at BYU and the offensive coordinator at Utah. He's going to be the offensive coordinator. I think he's a rising star in the business. And you've got Coy Detmer, who is Ty's nephew, who was a quarterback coach here last year. Doug Elisaya, he's the what do they call it? The director of football sports performance. I mean, we usually call it the strength and conditioning. Gennaro Guilford, longtime BYU guy, is the cornerback. Jim Harding, longtime offensive line coach for the Utes. Jay Hill, defensive coordinator. And let's see, you got Kenny Niumatalolo's son, assistant tight ends coach. Lewis Powell, been here forever.
Isn't Kyle's son's the tight ends coach?
Yeah. No, Kyle's brother, Freddie.
But his son is coaching there.
Alex's linebacker coach. Micah Simon played at BYU, coached at Utah, is the wide receiver coach. So there are so many strong ties.
Luke Batari, the kid that subbed in.
Oh, yeah, Chris Stapleton lookalike guy?
Not anymore. He's got a nice haircut. He's all cleaned up now.
Oh, because, it's time to be an adult.
I ran into him down in Newport Beach this year. And he's like, I was actually like staring at his tat. I'm like, that's a really good tat that guy has. And I was just kind of staring at it. And he's like, Riley? And I'm like, Luke? Because I didn't even recognize him without the long hair. Now, when I did quarterback training for him when he was in high school. Uh-huh. And that's how I know him.
Sure.
He went to the same high school as Tom Brady.
Oh, cool.
So he's from Northern California. And he's like, Riley? And I'm like, oh, dude, Luke, I was just about to compliment you on your tattoo. I didn't even know that was you. And I go, you're all cleaned up. He was awesome.
Oh, you got to grow up. You got to get a job. You got to play by the rules.
Well, if you knew Luke, though, like the Luke Bryan thing, I think it was more of a persona thing. Because if you know him as a person, attention to detail, very, very, like, he wasn't a 6'5" guy, so he's never going to get everything you want. But as far as like knowing how to play the position, knowing like what football is all about, I mean, he's going to be a great coach someday.
Cool.
Fun guy.
Good. Wish him well.
It was good to see him. That was the last, and I was standing there with my son, so I got some street cred with my son because I'm like, hey, that's the assistant quarterbacks coach for Michigan. He's like, it is? Because, he didn't have any Michigan gear. I mean, obviously he's not recruiting. He was on vacation before the season starts.
Yeah, I got you.
And he's like, that's he coaches for Michigan?
Yeah.
So
there's a ton of Utah connections, state of Utah, BYU, and even Weber has a connection there with Jason Beck. Just your initial impressions of taking a bunch of Utah guys, essentially, plopping them down at the winningest school in college football history. Where, I've been back there. I don't know if you guys have been back there. I've been back there a couple of times. My wife's mother grew up there, so I've been back for personal reasons beyond work. I've been back there for work a number of times. And, wow, I mean, you can't get any bigger than that.
Major blue blood program.
Initial impression.
So the initial impression is this. I don't think, and there was a part of me when the whole thing went down with Michigan and Kyle had just resigned. I'm like, dude, they're going to go get Kyle. Like, and this was before anybody like said anything. Kyle is the perfect fit for what they need right now. They need 5 years of like clean, above the board football. Yeah. He's going to bring stability. He's going to bring the old fashioned Michigan toughness to the program. Like everything that they want, they're going to get out of this staff. And he doesn't have, like, I know so many of those guys that you just named on their staff, like none of them are problem children. Mm-hmm. Like there's not going to be issues off the field. Like this is a great staff. They know how to play football. They know how to coach football. They brought in some really, really great players. I'm surprised they didn't get more BYU players. They hardly got any. But they stole a couple of very significant University of Utah players. They've got a great coaching staff. My initial impression is they're going to hit the ground running. Like this is going to be a team that's in the conversation, if not this year, next year for the national championship. And I think this is a perfect fit for Michigan. And I think what's really interesting, and we'll talk to Jay, in the next hour here, I think it sets up perfectly for Jay to be the head coach there.
It does. If not him, Jason Beck.
Right. But one of those two are going to be the head coach at Michigan after this. Because they're gonna see the success, and people aren't going to go, they're going to be like, we don't have to go anywhere.
Right.
This is Michigan. It's all in place. And I can't say enough nice things about a lot of the guys that are on staff there. This is a great move for Michigan. I think it hurts Utah for a couple of years. I think it hurts the University of Utah. And I think it hurts BYU for a couple. Both of those teams, it hurts them a little bit. And here's let me tell you what my theory is on some of this stuff. So you take a good defensive coordinator, or you take a good offensive coordinator, and I think they're a plus or minus 2 for your team.
What do you mean by 2?
So
2 wins, 2 points?
So what I mean is 2 wins. I think if they're really, really good, they get you about 2 more wins per season. I think if they're really, really bad, they get you about 2 losses per season. And if you're average, you're just about where you would be. I think Jay Hill is a plus 2.
Certainly wasn't Provo. And it was
Does that make sense? So I think that BYU has to overcome that. Now, I'm not saying that Coach Papinga isn't going to be great on defense. I have a lot of good things to say about him as well. But does he have all the nuanced ability and all the ability of play calling and all the different things that Jay Hill has? He doesn't yet. He doesn't have the accolade. He doesn't have the experience that Jay had. But he certainly had 2 years to watch a guy do it for really, really well.
No question.
You know what I mean? So yeah. I don't know how far the drop-off is there, but I do think Jay Hill's been a plus 2. Now, on the other side, you go to the University of Utah on the offensive side of the ball, and I think he was a plus 2. I think Coach Beck was a plus 2 as an offensive coordinator. And I think you have to overcome that. So I'm not saying, these teams aren't going to make a bowl game. They're not going to be competitive. They're not going to be good. But I do think they have some coaching deficiencies to overcome. And I really like Kevin McGivern. I like him. I think he's a journeyman coach who has done amazing things at schools that don't have half the athletes the University of Utah do.
Right.
What you think of my new saddle, Lizard?
Oh, yeah, it's swell, mate. Proper comfy.
Just one of the upgrades I've added to this puppy.
What else have you got on here?
New air intake filter, quick shifter, and a beefy muffler.
Well, that's why you ride with Geico motorcycle insurance, so you can cover your custom parts and equipment. Now let's hear that muffler purr.
All right, hang on tight to my love handles.
It feels good to ride with help. It feels good to Geico.
I mean, he's been at San Jose State. He's been at University of Utah. I mean, I think he was at San Jose State last, and he had that wide receiver that, led the nation in, receiving. He knows how to call plays. He's going to have an opportunity with some really good players and a really good quarterback right now to make some hay and to make a name for himself as well. Mm-hmm. So I know the original question is, how's the fit? I think it's fantastic. I think University of Utah and BYU are going to do great, but I do think there's a little bit of an adjustment there as far as coaching goes.
Any concern about just being in a different environment that it is foreign? I mean, all these guys, when they got these jobs, they'd been trained in the so-called, just the familiarity of the location.
Right.
They knew what to say. They knew how to behave and everything, and and they knew all the high school coaches because they've had deep roots here.
I think it's tougher to be a really good coach in Utah because it's more nuanced than it is to be a really good coach at any school in the country because there's not as many moving parts. Like you got the missionary program when you're coaching in the state of Utah. You got the Polynesians that are significant contributors to college football in the state of Utah. You've got people in the state of Utah that love to see local players play, but when you're trying to build a national program at Utah or BYU, it can't all be built around local players, right? So I think it's a little bit more nuanced to be really good in the state of Utah. I think it takes a little bit of pressure off of them at Michigan.
Okay.
And I think the one thing that has been interesting to me is that they have enough confidence in themselves at Michigan to bring a kid from the state of Utah in that they know is a top-level player. They brought the Moa kid in from Fremont. They have some players that they're still bringing in from the state of Utah, and they're like, hey, people just don't know it, but kids from the state of Utah, when we know A, B, and C about a kid, we know he can play national championship type football at Michigan.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So I think it's less difficult. Now, the pressure is different. I think the pressure is different than University of Utah. If they don't win,
You look at, Riley, that when the Utes went to the first Rose Bowl, I talked to countless amount of Utah fans. I mean, that was an unbelievable game, right, with Ohio State. And all Utah fans, everyone that I spoke to, they had the time of their lives. That whole time down there going to the parade, it was like a dream come true. And it didn't matter that they lost. And I get it. I agree with them. It didn't matter. It was an unbelievable game.
It will at Michigan.
That's what I'm saying. So you're not going to get, wow, we had the time of our lives, but we lost. No, you didn't. If you didn't, I was in the Rose Bowl in 1987 when the Sun Devils beat Michigan. And you could see the looks on the Michigan people's faces. They weren't very happy. You know who the quarterback was then? You may have heard of him.
Harbaugh.
Yes.
Jim Harbaugh.
Of course, I meant the quarterback for Arizona State.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know who that was.
Yeah, a forgettable name, but a guy named Jeff Van Raphorst, who is
He did play in the NFL for a bit.
Who is the radio analyst for the Sun Devils and still living off that 1987.
Amen.
Because he's the only guy who won a Rose Bowl for the Sun Devils.
Ride it.
Yeah.
Ride that thing.
That's his claim to fame. And I went to that. I was living over there. I just moved over there and went to that game as a fan. And so, yeah, the pressure that they haven't had, the scrutiny.
There's going to be a high level of scrutiny. But here's the thing. It's not like Kyle's cutting his teeth with like new coordinators and that he's a new coach. He's not going to make the mistakes that he made in year 1, year 2 as the head coach at the University of Utah. He's going to make the right decisions.
But, and I listened to him. He did an interview the other day because they all got in earlier in the week for Big Ten Media Days in Chicago. And Rich Eisen is a Michigan guy, apparently, was interviewing him. And I'm thinking, I'm driving home after work. I'm thinking, this is going to be fun. And he says, Rich says, what's it going to be like when you put the headphones on in the big house?
And Kyle's like, it's like any other.
I already did that during spring football multiple times. He wouldn't have of it. He wouldn't hear it. So
that part, I'll tell you that part, and I know we probably need to get to a break. It is interesting to watch all these high-profile interviews that he now gets.
Oh yeah,
like it just seems like it's happening like every week. He's on with
certainly
Rich
when he
Eisen.
got the job, yeah.
And like I'm just like, holy cow, that guy used to like. He used to be at the like yogurt shop over in Fort Union. Do you know what I mean? And now I'm like, oh, he's on TV again with Rich Eisen this week. And it's like, even though Kyle had that persona here, like you would still see him places at normal places around here, and it wasn't like, and people weren't up accosting him and like, I don't know. I'll bet it's a little different now. Yeah. I'll bet there's places in Michigan he can't really go and like enjoy just a normal life.
Okay, we'll have more of this coming up. Stay with us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Okay, Jay Hill coming up in our next segment now. We talk about hitting the ground running for Michigan. It's going to be tough, man. Week 2, Oklahoma's coming into Ann Arbor. They got their schedule on their website, and it said, sold out, buy on SeatGeek. And then they go to Iowa. No, Iowa comes into Ann Arbor, sold out, buy on SeatGeek. And then then they go to Minnesota. Then Penn State comes in October 17th, the same day BYU's playing Notre Dame, sold out, buy on SeatGeek. And it's 100,000 that they have there. And then the next week after that, after Penn State, Indiana comes in.
Sold out.
You caught on. Yeah. Then they got a week off when they go to Rutgers, and then
Michigan goes to Rutgers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Halloween Day.
Teams like Rutgers.
October 31st. Yeah.
They have it so easy, and they suck every year.
They do. And then the next week, Michigan State comes in, sold out. And then they go to the following week after that, November 14th, they go to Eugene, Oregon. And then they've got, I tell you, nobody respects UC Los Angeles because on the 21st of November, that's not sold out. And then, of course, at the end, they go to Columbus. So they play Penn State, Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State, Oklahoma.
Kind of a fun schedule.
Okay, you still think you'll hit the ground running?
Yes. I mean, look, they have an established quarterback. They don't have to reestablish like that they're Michigan. Like they're Michigan. I mean, there's so many things in place. Now, Underwood was not that great last year.
A little shaky.
Like he was like
a first-year freshman.
Yeah, 11 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. I think he's going to significantly improve. And if he improves significantly, then, oh, man, this team, there's a lot of key things in place for them. And then the stuff that they've brought in from the University of Utah, the coaching staff, the recruiting that they've done, I would be very surprised if they're not right there competing for the championship of their conference.
Okay, the voice you hear is Riley Jensen sitting in. We appreciate his opportunity to tell us what he thinks and coming on in when DJ's off right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Now, what we have next is our guy, Jay Hill, calling in, defensive coordinator at the University of Michigan. Stay with us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
We all have routines. I'm Jabron, and with diabetes, mine was finger sticks. Sometimes I skip them because they hurt. The Freestyle Libre 3C GM changed that. It gives me glucose insights without finger sticks. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
Finger sticks are required if your glucose alarms and readings do not match symptoms, or when you see check blood glucose symbol for the first 12 hours. The views expressed should not be used for medical diagnosis or treatment as a substitute for professional medical advice. Individual circumstances may vary. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
I think the engine's stalling out on me.
Yeah, that don't sound right.
Dang, got a lot more miles to go.
Nah, be okay, mate. You ride with Geico Motorcycle Insurance and got their 24/7 emergency roadside service. They'll be here with a tow in no time.
Good, because these boots weren't made for walking.
Those riding boots are pretty sweet.
Oh, you like?
Do you think they come in a size 1 inch?
I don't know.
It feels good to ride with help. It feels good to Geico. Emergency roadside service is optional coverage.